Okay guys, so what we're going to do is move I use a lot in my no-gi game and a lot in MMA, especially the past guy. It's a very basic submission, but I'm going to throw in some real sort of hot, world-class details. So I'm going to start from side control with the cross face. My opponent's going to have basic frame. Okay, everyone will take this sort of basic frame that knows what they're doing. If their arm's underneath your armpit, he runs the risk of getting kimura'd. If his arm's sort of stuck on his chest, his arm then becomes useless and he can't do nothing with it. So good guys like Camille, they have their arm on my neck. This stops me from dropping too much pressure down on him. It's going to frame it across my throat. I start talking like Louis Armstrong. Again, it's very uncomfortable and it stops me putting my pressure down. But we're going to work our way around that. So the first tip, hand under the head, I'm going to place on the floor. Okay, and this is one of the most underestimated moves in jiu-jitsu. I'm going to finger walk. What I'm aiming to do is get my left bicep tighter to Camille's neck. I'm going to cut off the blood on his right hand side. So I walk, give my bicep a little shake and I know it's tight. You see Camille's head is starting to turn. This is the smelly bit, but it's worth it. Middle finger, I'm going to take into the crook of Camille's armpit. And what I'm going to do is a thing I call pocket in the elbow. So my left elbow, I'm going to tuck towards my left hip here and pull him into me. What I do when I do this, guys, to get Camille to move his arm slightly, is my left shoulder is going to dip underneath his chin. You get a lot of people that like to put a lot of pressure across someone's jaw. This is good and is uncomfortable, but I can actively choke Camille here, make it very uncomfortable. Even though he's a strong, tough guy, I can see his face grimacing from this position. Okay, and if I stay here long enough, I can actually put him to sleep. So what I'm doing is causing a reaction. So what Camille will do, what everyone does, is he's going to want to one out. Okay, so he's going to start to push me with this arm. As he starts to push, I'm going to block his elbow. Okay, first no-no, guys, don't get used to pushing your opponent's arm. Okay, if Camille, and he is stronger than me, chances of me moving his arm is slim to none. It's just not going to happen. All I want to do is block Camille's arm. So what I'm going to do is use my whole body to move his arm. I'm going to slide my head down, my left ear, I'm going to stick next to Camille. So I drive down and turn, keeping my head on the floor. I'm going to ease off the pressure because I've put so many people to sleep during this technique when I've been teaching it before. I don't want to put poor Camille to sleep tonight. So in reality, what I would do is I turn my head and my spine, locking his arm, keeping my head flat on the floor. This never has to lift, guys. I keep this hand free. A lot of people try and lock this here. If he's a big, strong guy and he turns me over, I'm going to lose position, okay? And for MMA purposes, I can stay here and I can soften up his ribs, or base if he tries to bridge me. What I'm going to do here, guys, is slide my right knee across his belly, put it on the floor, leaving my foot behind. So now essentially I'm in sort of a mount position. Again, I'll keep my head on the floor. I'm only lifting because I don't want to put Camille to sleep before the end of the technique. Now that I'm in this position again, I can stay, throw shots. I'm going to gable grip. So what I do is I turn the palm of the hand that's underneath his head towards the floor. My other hand will grab. From this position, I take a big back step with the leg I left behind, which is my left, here. And I'm going to push his leg out of the way. From here, I'm going to drop flat. Please don't finish it like this or up on his hip. Okay, it loses a lot of pressure. What I'm going to do is aim like I'm going to sink through the floor. So I do flat, and squeeze, and I get the tap from that position. Okay, so look, the grip, this is really important. The grip I take, basic gable grip, is not thumbs. Okay, I had an older brother when I was younger. I'd just shake my hand, squeeze my knuckles, and I'd squirm like a little girl. If you were doing that in a fight and you're squeezing, you're going to put a lot of pressure on your knuckles. So I take a thumbless grip. Here. Classic wrestler's gable grip. So again, look, one more time with this technique. Cross face. I'll give you another tip, guys. If he's got his head like stone on the floor and you can't get a cross face, the good thing about jiu-jitsu is there's always a way. Okay, this is a cheeky tip I got from Braulio. So what I'm going to do is stick my hand underneath the crook of his neck. I can't get my arm through because Camille's keeping his head on the floor. All you do is this. And he lifts his head every single time. He knocked the air out of it. Now that I've got, he really likes that one. Now that I've got the palm on the floor, guys, we finger walk. Here, now I've got a nice tight bicep. Middle finger into the armpit, pocket the elbow, and drop. Notice when I pocket, I slide out of Camille's way. Now I can lean into his neck and cause a lot of pressure. What Camille will do is he's either going to push or he's going to tap. I block the elbow, slide your head, don't push the arm. If you can, please do it. But if you're doing this against an 80-90 kilo guy, his arm will not move. You have to use your body. My head drops to the floor, guys, and look, I turn. So my forehead is on the floor nice and tight. And I can finish my opponent here. But look, we want to move. So base, shin across, knee onto the floor, guys. From here, palm on the floor, the one that's under the head, and gable grip. I step, okay, a back step here. My weight's through Camille's hips. Push the leg out of the way, I drop flat, and I finish the head and arm from that position. Another one I like to do from there, if your head and arm's not quite working. Sometimes there's something miss or he's just defending way too well. So we always start the same. I'm not going to crush Camille's chest again, it's not nice. I don't like him. So I'm going to finger walk, guys. I set everything up the same. I pocket, he starts to push back, I block, head down, and I slide, I kick, and I'm here, okay? So from this position, I'm flat on the floor here, I'm squeezing away, and Camille's just not tapping. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is 2 moves in one. I'm going to give you an option to take the back and actually choke him from here. So what I'm going to do is let go and I cut his shoulder. So the hand that's underneath is going to cut the shoulder here, keeping my head tight to him. I don't want to do this and look up and see what's going on because his elbow's going to come straight out and he's going to frame and escape. So I stay fairly low. From here, what I'm going to do is replace my head with my chest. So I start to slide and push through his arm, staying behind his arm the whole time. Turning my hand. What I'm going to do is my knee is closest to the top hand, I slide through and I sit. Okay, so I have this good position on Camille here. His arm's still across his neck there and I'm still blocking his artery. Okay, to finish this and make it nasty, hand is on the hip, I turn thumb up and I'm going to lean into his neck and let the pressure do the work and tap him from there. Okay, and I'll let Camille get a bit of blood back into his head, his eyes are going pretty red. So look, from this position guys, from the head and arm, finish. Okay, I've dropped, I'm squeezing away, he's just not tapping. Okay, I haven't created enough tension or he's just too strong, he's pushing back. From this position, look, I always want to keep control of the shoulder. I open, cut, and I'm going to tuck my chest. So I'm going to look at his elbow, keep my chin in front of it. From here, the knee closest to the hand, I slide up and I grab. So I'm sitting on my belt. Okay, from here for the finish. Keep my chest nice and tight on the arm. I rotate my wrist and I lean and just wait for the tap from that position, guys. Okay, so you have 2 attacks in one, head and arm. If that doesn't work, then go to number 2. Okay. So that'd be 2 attacks from side control. What we do now is I'm going to show you basic Anaconda dart setup from the turtle position. Okay, so turtle position consists of my partner being on floors here. Okay, you get this position a lot, people will turtle up from side control. You may have sprawled on them from a takedown and you're always going to go attack the head and arm. Okay, so what I'll do first guys is give you a little drill to do. Okay, you do this, obviously you need a partner, but it's something good to practice. Okay, when you're holding turtle position, don't be lazy and just sit flat on the floor. Okay, I always take an overhook, not too deep because Camille will counter. I've got my weight leaning into my opponent, so I will do this from the other angle in a sec. So my right knee is pressed up against his hip. This way, mate. Here, so I go hip to hip. Other leg base up nice and wide, and I'm leaning. Okay, the reason I lean, if I'm on the floor, there's not much pressure on Camille. You imagine me fighting for 5 minutes. You still have to carry 70 kilos on my weight, plus I can hit. So, simple drill for mobility, guys. I'm just going to move from side to side with 4 steps. Okay, my first step will always be the inside leg. I'm just going to square up north-south. So I go 1, and my other leg will turn. 2, sprawled, and then north-south. From here, I'm going to go to Camille's right hand side. My left hand elbow comes to his hip, and I back step. 1, 2, and I'm in exactly the same position. Okay, I just like to repeat this backwards, forwards, just for mobility. 1, 2, elbow. 1, 2, 1, 2. Backwards and forwards. Okay, so we'll look at our first sub. Partners on the forwards, and I take a seatbelt grip. Okay, I don't just go for his head. He's way too experienced, he's never going to let this happen. Okay, so I take a basic seatbelt grip. It will consist of coming over the shoulder and around the pec. Okay, like you are in your car. You'd be surprised at people that can't do a seatbelt up, especially in jiu-jitsu. Okay, so let's have this position here. So what I want to do is lock up one of Camille's arms. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do this to a big man and a person more your weight. Okay, at this point we're going to assume Camille's more my weight. Okay, so look, what I'm going to do is take our good gable grip underneath his chin, and I'm going to move this elbow closer to the second one. Because Camille knows what he's doing, a lot of people put a lot of pressure through this arm and try and stop this, and we'll deal with that in a sec. So once I've got the gable grip, guys, my elbow's going to drop down to Camille, so my head will sit on the side, there's a shoulder here. Use my elbow to tuck and draw Camille's right elbow across him as I extend my right arm through underneath his armpit. So I'm here, I'll tuck, slide my arm through. So look, my left arm is blocking his elbow so he can't pull it straight back out. My right hand is through. From this position, guys, I'm going to slide my left bicep to my right hand and grab the top of Camille's lap here. Now for the finish. You can finish anacondas from here, but I always like to roll. 1, because it tightens it, and 2, it's a bit fancy and I like fancy moves. So once I'm here, I'm going to look at the floor and I'm going to roll over my left shoulder. Don't keep your head on your partner's back, because when he rolls, he's going to roll straight over your head. So I look at the floor, I roll through. From this position here, guys, to finish, I start to squeeze and I'm going to walk towards Camille here to get the tap. Okay? So, one more time. Basic Anaconda. Here. Gable grip, I drop down to the elbow, I feed it in, keep it blocked, slide through, bicep. I look at the floor, guys, and I'm going to roll through, tightening on the way. Squeeze and walk towards your partner to finish. Okay. So, now we have the twin sister on. I call them twin sisters because they're so much alike. Okay, there's always one better than the other. Okay, but we're going to move from the Anaconda to the dart. I always start the same way. Okay, so when I'm going to go to the darts from this position, darts is consistent of people being on their side more than up on all fours. But I can use the Anaconda roll to put in there. So once I'm in this position, guys, I draw across, feed through again, hand, get this in nice and deep. I turn my shoulder to make my arm longer. Grip, I turn and roll. Okay, this time, guys, Camille's defending and I can't get the submission. So what I'm going to do is control Camille's, it'd be his raise upside down, top arm, easier. So what I'm going to do is grab the back of his tricep. From here, I use my leg and my arm, and I'm going to sit up towards it. Okay, once I'm in this position, I have his neck and his arm with my right hand. My free hand, my left hand feeds through as I pull my right hand out. Here, keeping control of his head. From this position, guys, I do exactly the same thing. I'm going to slide my right bicep to my left arm. And what I'm going to do is turn my shoulder to tighten this up. So when I finish the darts, guys, please don't try and squeeze from this side control position. I want to put maximum pressure through my opponent's neck. I'm going to put him flat on his back. And I squeeze, and I get the finish from the Anaconda, the dart stroke in that position. So one more time with both. So, we'll pause. The grip, I feed through, grab, roll. He defends, one, I come up, I feed through, bicep. Back into that again, flat, squeeze and choke for the finish. Super strong. Okay, we do one. Just 2 more, mate. I told you, once I start, I can go and tell. Okay, so look, now we'll do it, same 2 moves, but if he's extremely big lad. Okay, moving someone who's definitely my weight, and Camille, we're only small guys against big guys, is what I'm going to do is give him a choice. Okay, I'm either going to paralyse him or he's going to move. Camille's not stupid, he's a very intelligent man, he's going to move. Okay, so look, instead of taking my seatbelt grip, I take what's called a chin strap. I'm going to grab Camille's chin, and I'm going to control the back of the tricep with the arm that I want inside. So what I'm going to do is, as I roll, I'm going to pull Camille's head up towards the ceiling. What will happen is his head will turn like this. If I push it towards the camera now, Camille's going to start to roll because he values the ability to walk. Me doing that with my whole body, Camille's going to move even quicker. Okay, so I'll do it nice and slow, mate. So once I'm here, I chin strap. I grab the tricep, and I'm going to go exactly the same way for the Anaconda. I look at the floor, I pull his chin and I roll, keeping his arm pulled so he looks like Superman, and his chin. From here, I feed my arm through, I slide to the bicep, and what I do again, guys, is walk towards him and squeeze. For the darts, I sit back up, turn, feed through, catch, push him flat, and I finish both the moves the same way again. Guillotine, really special from this position. I absolutely love this one. Okay, so we're going to go from the same position. Okay, I always set out the same sort of way. So I'm going to roll for the Anaconda and the darts. And Camille's going to defend the darts in a very common way. Okay, what he wants is, he doesn't want his chin on his chest, so most people will extend their head. And I'll show you when he will do this. So we always start the same. We either go chin strap, tricep, seatbelt grip. So I'm going to roll, chin strap, here. Feed his arm, catch, so I catch Anaconda, I feel I can't get that. I'm going to pop up for the darts. Here, slide this way, so just now, just side twisted. So look, now I have the darts, trying to lock this, okay? What Camille's going to do is going to draw his head back, like this. Now, like, as he can't get my bicep to my hand. So what I like to do from here, guys, is I'm just going to roll back. And essentially, I have an Anaconda position, but we're going to finish with a dirtier submission from here. So what I'm going to do is, the hand on top is I'm going to punch through to this side of the neck. So what I do is I'm going to turn and back step from here and back step. So what I do from this, I've just got Camille's neck. To stop him turning into me, I can chin strap. It makes it difficult for him to turn into me. Okay, but normally we do this quick. So I'm going to pocket his head into my armpit, and I'm going to grab my own wrist. When I grab my wrist, guys, I grab over the top of the knuckle of my wrist. So there are 2 ways of doing this. Okay, once I've got his head down, I can backwards roll, and I have loads of torque on Camille's neck. To finish, I'm going to hip through and
put the pressure on my opponent's neck from there. Okay, look. If you are not very confident at the backwards roll, you haven't done it before, what I do, guys, is that I take the grip, I'm going to bridge, so I lift my hips up, and my partner's head is always going to stay below me here. I take a big step over, keeping his neck, and I slide him out here. And then same again, guys, finish. Hips forward, head to the air, and I get the finish.
And the guillotine, again, from that position. Okay, so let's look at that one more time. So I'm here, chin strap, seatbelt, whichever way you want to go.
Force him to roll.
I get the Anaconda grip, it's not working, I decide to go for my dust. I pop up, he defends. I go backwards roll,
and I finish
the guillotine from that position.